Hello everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another video. This one is crazy. This is something I've never done before. Something I saw on Instagram by another artist. I thought it was super neat, super cool, and I thought, hey, I can do that and try it out. Looks pretty easy. It's not. I'm still the amount of work and time and material that goes into a project like this is absolutely insane. Okay. First off, let me start off by telling you the name of the really talented artist. Like I said, I saw her on Instagram. Her name is Allison Esley. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but her name is Allison. I will put her Instagram link in the description below. So go and follow her. She does really cool things with alcohol ink. And so I came across her stuff on my feed and I thought it was super cool. There's some other stuff she does that I'd really like to try as well, but I thought I would try this stuff first. Now, there's going to be a lot of working parts to this. There's going to be a lot of sped up process because this is like hours and hours of filming. Okay, so let's start off by discussing what board I am using here. So what I have here is a 20 by 20 inch wood board. Okay, and then I put some paper on here because that was my template. Okay, I've taped the sides. I don't want to pick it up too far because I did it now anyway. So I just don't want to mess up because this was perfectly level, right? So wood board, okay, tape the sides because I wanted the natural look. You could definitely, not do the natural look. That's up to you. Okay, let me put this back. Make sure I'm centered with you. Okay, so then what I did was I painted 3 layers of gesso. If you don't have gesso, you can use white paint. I did 3 layers on the board because I'm hoping it doesn't warp or anything like that. Okay, and then we have to make sure it is absolutely level. Okay, so it's level there, almost perfectly level there, and good enough for me there. It should be up just a bit more, but let me see. I can put some strips of paper under that just to make it, prop it up just a little bit. Okay, so I put some paper under there and now it is like perfectly level. Okay, let me tell you the next thing I did. I got some paper from my computer, my printer, and I did like a wavy design, kind of like the yellow brick road, but not a yellow brick road because we're doing blues. And so I just kind of did a design, a wavy design. It could be anything, you can do whatever. I didn't want to cover the entire piece, not this one. I will do it in a future one, but just not this one. So I did that and then did some other designs just as a template. And then I put all of these on here with Anthony. You'll see that coming up in a sped up, part of the video. We sat here for like an hour and a half almost, and we were playing with these. Allison calls them beads. I like to call them bubbles because they look like bubbles to me. So I'm going to call them bubbles. And so we started putting all the bubbles and trying to arrange everything to make it perfect. And I gotta tell you, man, it was hard. It seems easy, but then things don't fit properly. Things don't work properly. I originally had purple. You'll see I've got like containers and more containers of colors. And I've been like, it's insane. Like, I mean, look, it's just I'll show you after, but it is absolutely insane. So together, we put our brains together and we just kind of like, we're trying to figure out how to do that. And then we finally figured it out, but then once we were done, we were like, I don't like the purple in there. It needs to be all blues. So back to the drawing board, took out the purples, which you'll see coming up. I took the purples out one by one, inserted the blues. There's 3 different shades of blues. So I did that, and I gotta tell you, it is a process, okay? So let me start off by telling you the resin that I was using. So obviously you all know I use Krystal Resin, okay? However, for this project, I was using casting resin, okay? Shallow casting resin. It is a 1-to-1 ratio, okay? Shallow casting resin. Let me straighten you guys out. Shallow casting resin, and it is going to be on sale. So you will get 15% off the already sale price on the website, and you can get 15% off on top of the sale using code Kanella15. Okay, and that is gonna last about a week, okay? So this is what I was using to do the bubbles, okay? Can you use regular tabletop resin, which is my regular resin here that I use to top coat my canvases? You can. I don't recommend it because this is bubble-less, okay? Like there are no bubbles in this. So when I fill my molds, here are my molds. I got them from Amazon, okay? And I'll put these in my Amazon shop. So I'll tell you this. These are the minis. These are actually mini, small ones, which are these little guys here, okay? And then you have the medium size, which is this. And then you have a big kahuna size, which I don't have one because it's like at the bottom of this bucket, but it's a much bigger size. I don't have one readily available to show you. But, so that's mini, that's small, and this is considered medium, okay? Where did I get these from? Okay, so I got these off Amazon, and then I bought them, and then I found cheaper ones on Amazon. And so I bought the cheaper ones because I was like, oh, you get more bang for your buck if when I ordered the cheaper ones. No, the cheaper ones were flimsier, thinner, so you get what you pay for. I ended up returning the cheaper ones and went with these more expensive ones. They're not, well, I can't remember how much I bought. You get 2 of these, and then 3 of these, but these are the cheaper kind, the cheaper brand, because this brand doesn't sell the mini, so I had no choice. But yeah, sometimes, you think, oh, it's cheaper, I'm gonna get the cheaper kind. But yeah, they were very flimsy and not very sturdy. So yeah, you get what you pay for, okay? So just keep that in mind. You can go with the cheaper kind if you want, but I did not like it. I ended up returning them. So yeah, I'll put these in my Amazon shop, okay? So I used my casting resin, and I made, oh gosh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 12 cups here on my right, full of like different colors. I did sample colors, see, all kinds of different colors, and then I labeled the bottom of all of them so I knew what I used. So like this color, for example, is 1 drop of crimson, but with the alcohol ink, and then I have like the name of the brand. So like, let's see, this is 1 drop of wild plum, and then it has an R for Ranger. Ranger is the brand of alcohol ink, okay? So I did all the alcohol inks that I have, and I did samples for all of them because you gotta want to see what they look like. And speaking of alcohol ink, let me grab them. Okay, so there's many different brands of alcohol ink in there. Most of you probably know Pinata, okay? So this is Pinata, okay, Jacquard Pinata inks. You can get them at Michael's, or you can get them at Fluid Art Co. Fluid Art Co. sells them as well, so that's where you buy your TLP piggies from, the Fluid Art Co. website. So they sell Pinata. Then you have Ranger. Okay, so here's the Ranger alcohol ink. And this, again, you can buy at Michael's. And then I have this brand called Birch alcohol ink. And for the life of me, I cannot tell you where I got these from. I have no idea. They were gifted to me by a company years ago, and I have no idea where they're from. So if you do know where they're from, please let me know in the comments below, because I have no idea where I got this brand from, and I've got like 10 different colors, so I don't know where it's from. I'm sorry. And then you have Copic. I think it's Copic ink. But these ones are seriously expensive. So I don't recommend using this unless you want to use really expensive ink. But I tell you, this is cheap and definitely does the job. Okay, so those are different brands of inks. Like I said, I'm sure there's more brands out there of alcohol inks, but these are the ones I have, okay? And again, you can get these off Amazon. I think they're like in Canada about 20, 25, 30 bucks for a set. So again, not cheap. All right, so this again, casting resin. When you are doing the casting resin and then you put it in the mold, you will see bubbles come to the surface. Do not worry about those bubbles. Don't try and pop them. Don't try and torch them. Don't ever torch bubbles on a silicone mat. You will burn the mat and then it'll stick to the resin and you've ruined your silicone mat. Okay, a lot of another way to pop bubbles in a silicone mold, if you're using like regular resin, you use isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle. You just squirt it and it'll pop all the bubbles on the surface. However, you don't need to do that with this casting resin. When I first did it, I saw so many bubbles and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just pop them with the isopropyl alcohol. And by the time I finished filling out all my molds, because I had like 4 or 5 in a row to fill, the bubbles in the first one were completely gone. I promise you, just let it sit and the bubbles will disappear on their own, okay? You don't need to do anything. This is why I love this casting resin, okay? But keep in mind, you need a lot of it, okay? Like I made a ton of these bubbles. I mean, a ton. I haven't even counted them, but there's a lot. So that's 1 gallon, that resin, and then you can get a liter as well. If you want to just try it to start. But if you do want to try this, and have fun and play with it, and you want to do a big board like this, you're going to need 2 gallons. Okay, you're not going to use all of the 2 gallons, but 1 gallon won't be enough. Okay, so just please keep that in mind. All right, so I'm going to take this off, and I've just done a few little pencil marks just so that I kind of know where I'm starting. So I'll just put this under my table. And then what I did was, when I had everything placed on the board, I took a picture of it so that I knew where this would go. This is my old phone. This is why I keep old phones, because you never know when you're going to need it. So this is going to be my guide to start here and work my way up with all of these colors, okay? So like I said, I've painted the board white. You can paint it whatever color you want. Just keep in mind, if I were to paint this black and I put this nice transparent, bubble on top, it's not gonna really look like that. It's gonna be darker because you have a dark base, okay? Like I said, if you go and check out Allison on Instagram, she actually does like an ombre background. So she did purple, blue, and green. Then she puts purple beads, she calls them beads, purple beads, blue beads, green beads, right? So you can do that too. And I will do that in the future, but for this one, I wanted to make it as simple as possible, which, like I said, I found out the hard way, it wasn't that simple. So that being said, I'm going to use my tabletop resin to put a thin layer on top of this. And then I'm going to put my bubbles on top. And that is what is going to make them stick to the board. I'm not going to glue them down or anything like that, because if I glue it, then you're going to see like little glue marks. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to do a clear layer. Now I could do a layer of resin and lightly tint it with like a blue, and that way, you know, you'd have like a blue surface, but I'm gonna leave it white for now. So I am going to mix some resin and I'll be right back. Okay, so the resin is down. I've, you know, spread it out. I use the heat gun to pop the bubbles. Yeah, so if you want, you could also use the torch after the heat gun, and you can, you know, bubbles will continue to surface. So, you know, you might have some bubbles on wherever I have negative space, but then you can pop them after. Okay, so I gotta do this quickly because I have about a 40-minute working time before this starts getting really tacky, which I guess now that I think about it, doesn't really matter too much, but you want to get this going. So I'm going to use my little template here and follow that and start placing these bubbles down and cross my fingers that it looks just like the sample did when I was done. And yeah, so I'll just speed you guys up, enjoy some music, and I'll be right back. So this is the part where Anthony and I were messing around and trying to figure out what we should do. So that's the big one. Those are the big pieces. So there's the mini, small, and medium. So that's the big one I have from the big mold I showed you earlier. But we started off thinking about, okay, like, how are we going to do this? What are we doing? I didn't even have enough bubbles. So, you know, we were using purple, but when I realized we didn't want to use purple anymore, I decided I was going to just use blues. So I had to make another round of all three colors just to be able to fill up the board. So anywho, this is Anthony and I taking, I don't know, about an hour and a half trying to figure out how we were going to make this work and what we were doing. So yeah, we spent about, I don't know, an hour and a half or so, you know, having fun with this. And I gotta say, I really adore this man. He is always so interested to know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. He's very helpful all the time. He's always, you know, throwing out ideas. What if you did this? And what if we do that? And, you know, what if you tried this? So I really appreciate, you know, him taking the time out of his day to come and hang out with me and play with some bubbles in my studio. It was a lot of fun. We got to spend some time together and, you know, chit chat and laugh and goof around while we played with these bubbles. And, you know, it was pretty funny to see his thought process on where the bubbles should go and how they should be placed. And then there was my thought process, and then it was pretty funny. But yeah, he is an awesome man. He really is. But yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to stop talking, throw on some music, speed this up a little bit because, again, hour and a half or so, and I'll be back.
Okay, so after I decided, or we decided, that the purpley pinks and, like I said, I ran out of color. So, those corners of the peach on the top left and the purple on the bottom right, those were just there for, holding a place. Those weren't the colors I was going to use anyway. But we didn't like the purple and the light purple in between the blues. And that's when we decided, no, this thing's going to look all pretty cool with just shades of blue. So as you can see here, I had to make more, way more of the bubbles in all three shades of blue. So you just see me demolding them here. And I'm going to, once I demold everything, I'm going to one by one replace all of the bubbles of purple and whatever pinky colors there are on the board and replace them with blue. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, everybody. That took, I don't even know how long. Very long. Very, very long. So let me tell you the things I learned while I was putting these on. So when I first started down here, I put the first bubble on and it started sliding. And I thought, oh goodness gracious, that's not a good thing. What if they all start moving as I put them down on the board? And I was like really freaking out. And I was like, maybe I should have waited for the resin to get a little tacky so then I could put it down. But as I was putting them down, I realized if you push it down, it adheres better to the board, and any air bubbles that were trapped underneath the bubble disappeared, and then it literally would not move. So in spots where I didn't have enough resin on the board, you can see this one, for example, there's an air pocket under there. But I actually don't mind it because I think it looks super neat. It adds a little bit of a 3D look. So as you're putting them down, you see that? Like you can see that there's some air bubbles trapped under some of them. So when you put the pieces down, I suggest you push, once you have it in the spot you want it. That's the other thing I noticed. I put it down, I pushed it down, and then I'm like, oh, I need to move it over just a smidge. And yeah, no, it was hard to move over after. So like you can see there's a big air bubble under that one. But again, I actually think it looks pretty neat. So yeah, so once you know it's in the spot you want it, then push it down, and then it ain't going anywhere. So definitely don't need to let it, get a tacky before you put the bubbles on. I started off really well, and then I started coming up here and I was like, oh, this is getting harder. It got hard. I was starting to stress out. So then I kept going. And then when I got up here, it wasn't as tight as I originally had it, but that's to be expected. It can't be perfect like the first time. But the bubbles look adorable, and I'm really loving the white base. So I'm going to let this cure overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to come and I'm going, as I dip my finger into resin, goodness gracious, Kanella, Let me clean that off with a paper towel. As I was saying, I'm going to come and I'm going to peel off the tape. However, I want to ask you guys your opinion. Do I leave it like this with a negative white space? I feel like now that I'm looking at it, and I feel like I like that, but then I feel like there's too much negative space and it's not really proportioned. Or am I just overthinking it? I don't know. It's too late now. It's not like I have enough bubbles to keep going. So it's just going to be left like that. But now I'm looking at that and I feel like there's less negative space, and maybe this could have been bumped out one more row, but I don't think I have enough boobles to do it. And see, here are all the other colors I've done. See, this looks brown, but it's really, looks brown, but it's actually purple. See? But yeah, I've done so many bubbles. It's, you know, there's some nice greens and reds, but, oh, here, I've been playing with texture paste. So I thought, what if, hold on, I know, I'm driving you guys nuts. What if in this spot here, and this spot here, I did some like petals maybe, like this, not in color though, but just so you get the idea. Or should I just leave it? Or do you have a completely other idea that I'm not thinking of for me to do? Like, I mean, this looks kind of geode-ish, but I don't really want to mess with it too much. I really kind of like the negative space. So do I just leave it as is? Do I embellish some of the negative space with something, whether it be some texture paste and do some like petals? You tell me in the comments below what you think I should do to this, or should I just leave it as is? So I will let this cure. I will peel the tape off tomorrow and I'll show you guys the final result. Well, almost final result. Depends on what you guys say in the comments. I'll leave it at that and then see what you guys say and then decide whether I want to embellish it or just leave it. So for now, let's leave it like this and I'll be back tomorrow to peel off the tape. All right, everybody, it is the next morning. This is dry. It's ready to get the tape peeled off. This sucker's a little bit heavy too, but it's so cute. Look at that. It really is neat. So I'm still sitting and wondering and debating if I should leave it as is, if I should, I know I mentioned this yesterday, but for you guys like 2 minutes ago, but yesterday when I was recording, you know, should I do something maybe in this negative spot, because then it'll at least match. If I put something here, it'll be too much down here and I can't really put anything up there. I don't know. What you guys need to tell me what you think. And then, you know, either I leave it as is or I'm going to embellish it. So in the meantime, I'm going to heat up my sides with my heat gun, and I'm going to peel off the tape, and hopefully everything peels off nice and smoothly. So I'm going to do that, speed you guys up, and I'll try to get as much of it as I can in camera view, but it's a little hard because this is a pretty big canvas or wood panel. So I'll be right back. Well, there it is. See, this is the sides. That's why I kind of liked keeping it, you know, natural wood. I really like that. Look how clean it is. The importance of taping your artwork, so important.
Okay, so I guess that concludes this video for now. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, but also let me know, do I leave it as is? Just leave it. Should I embellish it somehow? And if so, tell me, what do you think? Maybe you have an idea I haven't thought of yet, but maybe I should just leave it. I don't know. Let me know. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. It is available for purchase. You can purchase it as is or after it gets embellished, if it gets embellished. Again, don't forget to check out Allison. Check out her Instagram page and follow. And yeah, that's it. Gotta say, this was a lot of work. It was a couple of weeks in progress. Like, I mean, obviously I didn't work on it straight. I worked on it here and there, and then I had to get more resin and more molds and make more colors. But, it was actually pretty fun. So the next time I do one, though, I'm going to fill up the whole board with no negative space. And we'll see how that pans out. So, yeah, if anyone is interested in this piece, you can email me at kanellaciraco@gmail.com. And yeah, that is it for me. So let me know in the comments. You guys are watching this on Wednesday, July 10th. And tomorrow I leave for Florida. Off to Florida to teach with Kathleen from Cause Creations in Fort Myers. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Until next time, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.